A group of NASA astronauts are trying to repair the Hubble Space Telescope when Mission Control tells them that the Russians have just shot down one of their spy satellites. This resulted in a chain reaction, hurling a dangerous cloud of space debris around the Earth at breakneck speed.
It's not good. Most of our systems are gone. The debris chain reaction is out of control and rapidly expanding. Multiple satellites are down and in recon form.
Mission Control then informs them they'll soon lose communication, prompting Dr. Ryan Stone and the crew lead Kowalski to end the mission. Just then, the space debris hits them at full speed, completely destroying their spaceship and throwing Stone off balance.
Astronaut is off structure. Dr. Stone is off structure.
Stone drifts further and further into space and is now running low on oxygen. Well, that's a rookie mistake. How could she forget her yoga breathing routine? On the other side, Kowalski communicates with her through their satellite phone, which surprisingly still has better service than most hotels. He then asks her to describe her surroundings so he can come and get her. Meanwhile, she drifts in and out of consciousness before getting her emotions under control. She then reports her location to Kowalski, but unfortunately, he doesn't respond. Just when she's starting to lose all hope, a voice comes through the radio. Someone's asking for her location. Frightened, Stone quickly reports her vitals and flashes her light, praying for some kind of response. Not long after, Kowalski finds her and hugs her like his long-lost wife. He then asks for her status, and she reveals that she's fine, but her oxygen levels are down to 8%. Kowalski tells her to calm down because she's breathing too fast and using up too much oxygen. He then pulls her toward their spaceship using his suit's controls and a rope. After that, he gives her a time limit, telling her to set her watch for 90 minutes. When Stone asks his reason for this, he explains that it would take 90 minutes for the wave of debris to reach their current position. So this killer storm is basically revolving like the Earth around the sun. How nice. Stone admits that it was pretty scary moving around without a partner, but Kowalski tells her she did all right on her own. Kowalski then asks Mission Control for permission to retrieve Shariff, the third member of their team, but when they don't respond, he moves to get him anyway. They head back in the direction of their ship while moving past sharp objects that are aiming at everywhere but them. Stone suddenly collides with Shariff and they tumble mid-air. Kowalski then asks her to clutch Shariff like he's her Valentine. Stone is horrified when she takes a closer look at Sheriff's face, or what remains of it. She then finds a photo frame of his once handsome face with his family and shudders, but Kowalski simply implies that it's no time to act like a crybaby. Meanwhile, Stone calmly tells Kowalski that her oxygen tank is down to 5%. They soon make their way to their spaceship, the Explorer, only to discover it's been damaged beyond repair. In the ship, Stone comes face to face with a dead astronaut and gasps in horror. Meanwhile, Kowalski reports to Mission Control that he and Stone are the only survivors of the Explorer. Stone apologizes for not leaving her work on time, but Kowalski tells her that they would have been hit regardless of what she did. He also informs Stone that their only way now is to use the escape pod on the ISS to get back to Earth.
It's a bit of a hike. We need to use their escape pod, the Soyuz, to get back to Earth.
Although they've lost communication with Mission Control, Kowalski informs them of their plans to use the Soyuz on the ISS to get back home. To ease the tension, Kowalski tries to take Stone's mind off their less than favorable condition by asking her about her life on Earth. Stone tells Kowalski that she lives in Lake Zurich, an area in Illinois, and Kowalski tells her that it's roughly 8 p.m. over there. Kowalski asks her what people in Lake Zurich would be doing right now, and she tells him she doesn't know. He goes on to ask what she would be doing, and Stone explains that she would just be leaving her workplace after an 18-hour shift. Kowalski wonders if there's a Mr. Stone waiting to murder him if he makes a move on her, but Stone tells him she's not married, and on a normal day, she would probably turn on her radio and listen to music with no destination in mind. Kowalski then asks for her kind of music, but she tells him she doesn't have a particular preference as long as the radio presenter isn't talking. He wonders if there's someone down there looking up, thinking about her, but Stone explains that the only family she had was her 4-year-old daughter who died. She explains that she found out about her daughter's death after getting a call from her school, letting her know that her daughter had fallen at a playground and hit her head, sustaining a head injury which later killed her. After that, Stone started driving alone after work, always listening to NPR, the same station that was on when she got the news.
I was driving when I got the call, so ever since then, that's what I do. I wake up, I go to work, and I just drive.
Grief took over. She fell into a deep depression, overwhelmed with guilt and anger. Over time, she pulled away from everyone, hoping that if there was something beyond this life, she might see her daughter again. Kowalski then tells Stone that he's got good news. They've got 5 more minutes before they reach the space station, and he knows exactly where they store their rum, and what better way is there to enjoy their time in space than to steal some vodka. Stone then tells Kowalski that she has run out of oxygen and is about to die, but Kowalski tells her,
Tank is out of oxygen, but you still have it in your suit.
he then advises her to take small sips of oxygen from her suit instead of gulping it like beer. As they approach the ISS, Kowalski skillfully controls their direction using the thrusters, moving through space like a modern-day Superman. He soon burns through all his suit's power, losing the ability to control his direction. He warns Stone that they're about to have a bad landing and suggests she grab hold of anything she can before finally hitting the space station. After tumbling for a short while, their rope snaps and they struggle to grab onto anything. In the chaos, Stone gets tangled in the parachute cord, stopping her from drifting off into the abyss, or worse, hitting her head on a metallic pole. Not like it hadn't happened already, but if it happens the 3rd time, it would be catastrophic. Stone soon catches Kowalski by the rope, but the pressure causes the cord to loosen around her ankle. Kowalski tells Stone to let him go because he's scared she won't make it. He actually wants her to survive this mess, despite the universe playing dodgeball with their lives, but Stone, being the stubborn overachiever she is, still doesn't want to let go. Kowalski promises Stone that he'll leave his battery on and keep talking to her as long as he can. He finally unhooks himself and lets go of the rope, propelling himself into deep space. With the extra weight gone, Stone is sent flying in the opposite direction towards the station. Meanwhile, Kowalski talks to Stone through their satellite comms and asks her how she's doing. She explains that her CO2 alarm went off, and Kowalski instructs her to quickly board the station through the airlock. Kowalski detects that she's running out of breath because she's breathing in CO2. He further explains that the Soyuz is way too damaged for re-entry, but she can use it to get to the Chinese station, after which she would use its escape pod to get back to Earth. He reassures Stone that by this time tomorrow, she would be back on Earth. As Stone prepares to enter the station, Kowalski asks about her name, and Stone explains that her father gave it to her because they were hoping for a boy. Feeling confident, he goes on to ask if she's attracted to him. Stone humors him by telling him he has nice eyes, but she's more focused on how to survive. Stone finally makes her way over to the airlock and yanks it open with all her strength. Once inside the station, Stone floods the airlock with oxygen before taking off her entire suit. She then gulps in mouthfuls of air like it's the last buffet on Earth and breathes like a drug addict, revealing just how little oxygen was left in her suit. Shortly after, she begins exploring the rest of the ship, completely missing the part where some wires are literally coughing up fireballs. She finally reaches the communication center and tries to reach out to Kowalski, but he doesn't answer. Stone begs Kowalski to say something since he's been a chatterbox from the moment they started this mission. She even admits he initially got on her nerves with all the talking, but now she's practically begging for just one sarcastic comment, yet he's staying silent. With no reply from Kowalski, Stone realizes that he's probably dead. She then reports to Mission Control, letting them know that she's the only survivor from the Explorer.
To confirm, I, Ryan Stone, am the sole survivor of SDS-157.
Moments later, a fire alarm rocks the entire station. Stone grabs an extinguisher and tries to put out the fire, but an explosion throws her backwards, knocking her unconscious. Well, so much for her first day at firefighting school. She quickly snaps out of it, enters the Soyuz, and slams the door behind her. She then reaches for the instruction manual and scans through the pages, hoping to learn how to separate the pod she's in from the burning space station. She finally figures out how to detach the escape pod from the spaceship and starts the detachment sequence. Well, I guess learning under duress is still a thing. Right after the Soyuz is detached, Stone runs into another problem. The pod is pulled back in the direction of the station, thanks to the parachute ropes that were still attached to it. The force of the pull sends the spaceship spinning mid-air. Stone is flipped around like laundry in a washing machine. She quickly picks up the manual and tries to understand it, but after realizing that she's got too little time to make any substantial changes, she begs the spaceship to stop. Surprisingly, it actually listens to her. Unfortunately, Stone is still far from safe since the parachute is still attached to the space station. Left with no other option, she suits up and attempts to cut the parachute free to detach once and for all. She also notes the sky looks clear, which is basically a code word for cloudy with a chance of debris, but you get my quip. While she attempts to detach the Soyuz from the ISS, she loses one of her tools and tries to pick it up, but just then, another wave of debris heads toward her. She just has enough time to re-enter the pod and secure herself before the space junk rips through the larger spaceship. Exhausted and physically spent, Stone moves back to the main console of the Soyuz. She then adjusts her trajectory towards the direction of the Chinese space station. Over comms, she reports to Houston of her plan to use the Chinese spaceship for re-entry, noting that her current course is off by 13 degrees.
Tiangong is approximately 100 kilometers to the west, and I am off its course by about 13 degrees. I will correct trajectory.
She then attempts to start the engine, but each attempt doesn't work. She suddenly realizes that the capsule is out of fuel. Too bad, since there are no gas stations in space. She lets out her frustration by hitting the dashboard. After realizing that pounding wouldn't do a thing, Stone attempts to contact Mission Control, or any other astronaut she can reach through her satellite comms, but no one responds. After a while, someone finally answers, but it's a Chinese man who doesn't understand what Stone is saying. He assumes that she's calling from Earth, and Stone tries to explain her situation to him, but he doesn't understand. He only understands basic English and picks up the word dog from Stone's message. The duo then start to bark in an attempt to communicate with each other.
Ow! Woo! Woo! Woof! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Well, iShowSpeed will be really proud here. Stone is suddenly hit by the absurdity of her situation and breaks down in tears while confessing her fears of dying to the man. She's convinced that she'll die on this very same day because there's no rescue team coming to save her, and on top of that, she's running low on oxygen. She further reveals that while everyone would die one day, she's so scared of dying because there's no one who would mourn her or remember her. Just then, the Chinese man starts singing a lullaby for his baby, and Stone reminisces on how she used to sing for her daughter. She suddenly realizes that if she dies, it would probably give her a chance to see her daughter. As the man continues to sing, Stone falls asleep. She is soon woken up by a rapping sound on the window of the escape pod. Just then, an astronaut bursts into the escape pod and Stone yells in fear, but she finally relaxes after seeing that it's Kowalski. He asks if Stone had grabbed the vodka at the Chinese station he told her about, and she reminds him that he never told her where it was hidden. Kowalski then pulls out a hidden bottle of vodka and offers it to her, while saying she looks like she could use a drink. Stone politely refuses, but Kowalski, not one to waste a good drink, takes a sip. He then informs her that the Chinese station is only a few miles away and they had better get their asses out there. Stone tells him she's already tried everything and nothing worked. And by everything, she probably forgot to mention how she cried for hours. Kowalski asks if she tried the soft landing jets, and Stone reveals that she had learnt about it during training, but she sucked at riding it. Someone tell me in the comment section. There's a joke here, but I just can't remember it. Kowalski tells her to believe in herself, but Stone doubts that his plan would actually work, so he gets blunt with her and asks if she'd rather die here or if she'd like to go back home. He tells her that she could simply shut down the lights, tune everyone out, and wait for death to come, or she could get out of there, finally put her feet on the ground, and start living life again. Stone starts to wonder how Kowalski got there, but he simply tells her that it's time to go home. She then opens her eyes and looks beside her only to find out that Kowalski is gone. She realizes that she was probably just hallucinating and picks up the instruction manual again. Figures. The first honest pep talk she gets, and it's from her subconscious. However, this time Stone reads about the landing procedure. While initiating the capsule, Stone's face breaks out in a smile as she asks Kowalski for one last favor. She asked him to tell her daughter that she loves her and she misses her, but she wouldn't be seeing her today because she's not quitting on life.
Give her a big hug and big kiss for me and tell her that Mama misses her. Tell her that she is my angel. And she makes me so proud. So, so proud. And you tell her that I'm not quitting. You tell her that I love her, Matt. You tell her that I love her so much.
Inspired by Kowalski's last words, Stone accelerates toward the Chinese station. She then picks up her helmet and dons it, but she soon realizes that the Soyuz is losing altitude, so she comes up with a genius idea to escape, using the fire extinguisher to steer her in the direction of the Chinese station. By applying pressure, she controls her speed and spins toward the station. Well, who knew you could use an extinguisher to fly through space? She soon grabs hold of the station, but not without being blown from side to side like a hot air balloon. Once inside the station, Stone hears different men speaking Chinese on the radio. She climbs her way into the space station and finally makes her way over to the flight deck, where she uses her seatbelt in preparation for re-entry. After several failed attempts at hitting the right button, Stone finally hits the right one for re-entry. The ship begins a slow trajectory, and Stone reports to Mission Control that she has gained control of Tiangong, the Chinese spaceship, and she's about to undock from it, but she has a bad feeling about this mission. How nice of her to use the very same words Kowalski used to say. Well, never mind the details of the story because a pile of debris hits her ship at that moment, but she could already tell that it would be one hell of a ride. Anyway, Stone is confident that she'll either have one hell of a story to tell by the time this whole ordeal is over, or she'll burn in the next 10 minutes, but she's ready for whatever happens.
Because either way, it'll be one hell of a ride.
For the last time that day, Stone puts on her helmet and detaches the escape pod from the larger station. The space station is then broken into different parts, and Stone is basically flipped around like a pancake as the escape pod somersaults mid-air towards the atmosphere. She then clicks another button, which divides the escape pod into 3 parts, which turn fiery red like coals on fire. The different parts of the space station make their way down to Earth, and you've just got to think, NASA must be spending billions on insurance for these things. As the pod enters the Earth's atmosphere, the friction causes the spacecraft to heat up, dangerously increasing the temperature inside. Stone then gets a message from Mission Control telling her that they just detected that she's re-entering Earth and they'll be sending a rescue team in her direction. The pod soon crashes into the ocean, creating a massive splash. However, it doesn't stay afloat. It starts sinking slowly, and Stone is pushed back by the force of the waves. With water rushing in, she struggles to free herself from the pod. Gasping for air, she swims out and tugs at her heavy spacesuit, fighting to stay afloat. Stone finally makes her way toward the shore and lies down on the sand while gripping the sand in her fingertips. She struggles to rise up and laughs at this, grateful to have a chance to feel dirt beneath her nails. With no care for her undergarments, which were now soaked in mud, by the way, she has a laugh and forces herself upward. Wherever she's headed, let's hope she doesn't get picked up for mental charges, because who wears mud-stained underwear in broad daylight? But then again, that's what happens when you just had a terrific space adventure.